And now, ladies and gentlemen, from the heart of the Inland Empire, right here in sunny Southern California, it's Robert Cardoza Live, where we talk about politics, money, and you. This is the intersection of business and politics. And now here's your host, Robert Cardoza.
And welcome aboard. I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to the intersection of business and politics right here on Robert Cardoza Live, where I do an honest, unbiased analysis of the issues confronting you today that affect the decisions that you're going to make for both your personal and your business life. I come to you every Monday through Friday on Spreaker Radio, Roar, 1776 Radio, and MyCast Live Radio from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Pacific Time, and also on 405 Media Radio every Monday through Friday from 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. Pacific Time, in addition to countless terrestrial stations worldwide. Please follow me on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Google+, and YouTube, where you can listen to all of my shows 24/7. Go to my website at www.robertcardozalive.com for archives of all my radio and television shows. You can also access my show live right from my website each day, simply by clicking on that little icon labeled Listen Live. Email me at robertcardozalive@gmail.com. That's where I get all the emails I deal with here on the show. And you can call into my show if you want to comment or just engage me in conversation about anything. Call directly into the studio at 909-545-6516. Again, that number, 909-545-6516. Now, on today's show, we're going to discuss what's in the news, new legislation, the IRS loses, and I'm going to answer your emails just like I always do. Today, my expert contributor is John Hanson, that little old wine drinker. He's going to be talking about, food and wine, and I'm going to be talking about new technology and entertainment news. But first, I want you to stand by for news. Right now, I want you to know that at 3:02 p.m. Pacific Time, it is currently 93 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. Well, let me tell you about the 10 things that you need to know for today that are going to be in the news. Your daily look at late-breaking news, upcoming events, and the stories that will be talked about all day today. We've encapsulated this so that we can give you all the things that you kind of need to be aware of. And then on our next segment, we'll get a little more in-depth for you. First up, the Pope wraps up his United States visit with a huge mass in Philadelphia. The open-air service, the last major public event on Francis's itinerary, attracts hundreds of thousands of the faithful. They say well over 800,000 people. Next item up is Obama. Other world leaders at the United Nations outline an ambitious agenda. The president commits the United States to a new blueprint to eliminate poverty and hunger around the globe. Next item up is Assad's military gets a boost. Iraq says it will begin sharing security and intelligence information with Syria, as well as with Russia and Iran, to help combat the Islamic State group. By the way, you're going to find out that was an end run around the United States. Just caught the White House blindsided with that. Next item up is Boehner's meeting with the Pope helped clear the picture. The Roman Catholic Ohio congressman says spending a day last week with his spiritual leader was deeply moving and a reason that he moved up his resignation announcement. Next item up is where independence movement is actually advancing. Pro-secession parties pushing for Spain's Catalonia region to break away from and form a new nation win a landmark vote today. Also, the United States prosecutors might have trouble pursuing this Volkswagen scandal. Hauling any of the automaker's executives into a United States courtroom could be challenging because much of the conduct at issue probably occurred overseas. Yeah, I mean, you can, bet on that, right? And you know what the issues are there, right? The falsification of some software that actually slanted the emissions deals. We'll talk more about that in a little bit. How about this? How authorities are calling attention to pollution in Paris. The city bans all vehicle traffic from central Paris for an entire day. And the next item up, Stargazers Bonanza, lunar eclipse, and supermoon. It's the first time the events have made a twin appearance since 1982, and they won't again until 2033. For those of you who had a chance to see it, boy, did you see something that was magnificent. And for those of you that don't, you know what? Go to YouTube and look it up. It was just quite a sight, something that you want everybody to know about. Next item up is which film is going gangbusters? Well, Hotel Transylvania 2 earns $47.5 million in its debut weekend, setting a record for a September opening. And then finally, golfer Jordan Spieth hauls in a record $22 million. The 22-year-old Texan caps a sensational season by winning the FedEx Cup and adding another $10 million to his bank account. Boy, go figure. Is that something to talk about? I would certainly think so. Well, you know what? Let's get a little more in-depth with the news here today. Let's go right back to the latest, Obama and Putin. They meet on the sidelines of the UN summit. Here's the thing. Let's get down to what's actually going on. You know, Putin just seems to be doing these in-runs around Obama, and they constantly just take him by surprise. How is it the United States and the White House can be caught sleeping? You know, here's the thing. Developments as the United Nations General Assembly marks its 70th year and world leaders debate issues gripping the global community and governments. United States President Barack Obama and Russian President Vladimir Putin are meeting on the sidelines of the United Nations Summit. Obama and Putin shook hands quickly but made no comments to reporters before starting their private discussions. The sit-down marks the first formal meeting between the two leaders in more than 2 years. Their already tense relationship has been deeply strained by Russia's provocations in the Ukraine. United States officials were hoping to make the Ukraine crisis and the status of a fragile peace plan the centerpiece of the meeting. However, Russia was seeking to emphasize Syria, where it has recently increased its military engagement and called on the international community to support the government of Syrian President Bashar Assad. Russian leader Vladimir Putin has expressed condolences to Iranian President Hassan Rouhani for the mass deaths of Muslim pilgrims 4 days ago during the Hajj in Saudi Arabia. Putin began a bilateral meeting with his Iranian counterparts by noting the great tragedy and expressing condolences to Rouhani and the Iranian public for the deaths of Iranians in Saudi Arabia. Earlier in the day, Rouhani used his address to the United Nations General Assembly to blame Saudi incompetence for the deaths. The Saudi Health Ministry's latest figures released Saturday put the toll at 769 people killed and 934 injured in MENA. Rouhani said thousands died, but did not elaborate on specific numbers or provide a source for his figures. Rouhani praised Iran's improving relations with Russia and thanked Putin for his comments, saying, "We are indeed shaken by the tragedy in Mecca, and we are thankful to you." Now, with that, I don't want you to go away because we're going to come back with more in-depth news, and we're going to talk about Obama says that the states are pledging 30,000 plus troops to the UN peacekeeping force. I'll tell you all about that right after these brief messages. Do not go away.
If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. You know, nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, you know Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Lineberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchased high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson & Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson & Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson & Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson & Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. And you know what? We're talking about the news. And I told you it was Obama says he states a pledge 30,000 plus troops to the United States peacekeeping. Here's the thing. President Barack Obama today announced notable steps to upgrade UN peacekeeping, saying more than 50 countries have pledged to contribute more than 30,000 new troops and police to serve in some of the world's most volatile areas. But there was no sign the U.S., which pays a quarter of the peacekeeping budget, would put more of its own troops into the field. The United States chaired a high-level meeting to strengthen the modernize peacekeeping, whose nearly 125,000 personnel increasingly face threats from extremist groups while being severely stretched in personnel and equipment. Deployments to crises can take several months. And a series of sexual abuse allegations against peacekeepers has brought new concerns about a long-standing problem that Obama called an affront to human decency. Obama's presence at today's meeting, shortly before his first face-to-face meeting with Russian President Vladimir Putin on the sidelines of an annual UN gathering of world leaders, was the latest sign of a high-level U.S. interest in the issue. Putin did not attend the meeting, the only leader of the 5 permanent members of the UN Security Council, which approves peacekeeping missions, not to be there. You know, go figure. These two guys, I want to tell you, they do not like each other. In case you're wondering, in case you're guessing, that happens to be the fact. How about this? Key Afghan city falls to the Taliban in a major government setback. The Taliban captured the strategic northern Afghan city of Kunduz today in a multi-pronged attack involving hundreds of fighters, the first time the insurgents have seized a major urban area since the 2001 U.S.-led invasion. The fast-moving assault took military and intelligence agencies by surprise as the insurgents descended on the city, one of Afghanistan's richest and the largest of repeated Taliban offensives as the militants spread their fight across the country following the withdrawal last year of U.S. and NATO combat troops. Within 12 hours of launching the offensive around 3 a.m., the militants had reached the main square, tearing down photographs of President Ashraf Ghani and other leaders and raising the white flag of the Taliban movement. Residents reported more than 600 prisoners, including 140 Taliban fighters, were released from the city's jails, and many people were trying to reach the airport to flee the city. Kunduz city has collapsed into the hands of the Taliban. Interior Ministry spokesman Sadiq Siddiqui told the Associated Press security forces in Kunduz were prepared for an attack, but not one of this size and not one that was coordinated in 10 different locations at the same time. Well, you know what? How can you be prepared and not prepared? That doesn't make much sense, does it? How about this? Hope fear waiting at French migrant camps run by smugglers. A Mercedes and a BMW, both with British license plates, sit in a forest clearing on the edge of a small migrant camp in northern France. Everyone here speaks in whispers or not at all. Bullet holes are packed 2 shipping containers sheltering migrants, all trying to get to England, helping to explain the silence. People smugglers who get rich off desperate migrants, and they span the globe, and their tentacles extend into nooks and crannies like Tettegem, a small town outside Dunkirk. Here, the smuggling kingpins are firmly in control and growing nasty. "Don't come see me in the camp," said a typically cautious Iranian migrant in the parking lot of a local grocery store, "where talking is easier. Problems," he said, putting his finger to his head. Bang. An Iraqi migrant was wounded by gunfire in mid-August, caught in the crossfire of scores settling among smugglers, said Tettegem Mayor Frank Dershing. This month, police chased a Mercedes driven by a suspected smuggler into a ditch at the camp entrance. The shattered glass and skid marks visible a week later. An 18-year-old Syrian displayed his bandaged right leg in hospital report, stating that metallic objects were removed. Police bullets, according to migrants, metal from bullet-punctured containers, hit a smuggler, says the mayor. Few French know of the town of Tegorem, but some migrants first heard the name in a phone call before ever leaving their homeland. It is described by Mayor Dershin and others as a drop-off point for a band of people smugglers taking in Syrians, Iraqis, and Iranians. Ultimately, officials believe the gang is locked into a Britain-based network that may stretch from Kurdish regions of the Middle East. Go figure. You know what? It just gets worse and worse and worse. Well, what happens now that Boehner has resigned? Well, scramble to fill the top jobs in the House after his exit. A chaotic scramble is on to fill the top GOP jobs in the House following Speaker John Boehner's surprise resignation. Now, the same conservatives who pushed him out are maneuvering to yank the next leadership team to the right. The frenzied action under the Capitol dome will help determine how Congress contends with upcoming battles on keeping the government running and avoiding the federal default, and whether Republicans can take back the White House next year. Boehner's announcement shocked nearly everyone, and opening a rare chance for ambitious lawmakers to climb the congressional ladder and for competing factions to exert new sway as an anti-establishment fever sweeps GOP politics. The frontrunner for the Speaker's job, Majority Leader Kevin McCarthy, made his candidacy official today in a letter to fellow GOP lawmakers in which he pledged to fight for conservative principles and listen to all members, something Boehner was accused of failing to do. And Republican frontrunner Trump proposes tax cuts for all. Now, I want to premise this by saying you got to look a little deeper here. But after weeks of vowing to raise taxes on hedge fund guys and high-income earners, Republican presidential frontrunner Donald Trump unveiled his tax plan today that would cut rates across the board and reduce the amount paid by wealthiest Americans and corporations into the U.S. Treasury. The plan, which Trump said would provide major tax relief for middle income and for most other Americans, appears certain to come with a significant price tag that experts said would likely add to the national debt, despite Trump's assurances. There will be a major tax reduction, Trump said at a news conference at his Trump Tower skyscraper in Manhattan. It'll simplify the tax code. It'll grow the American economy at a level that it hasn't seen for decades, and all of this does not add to our debt or to our deficit. The plan Trump unveiled proposes eliminating income taxes entirely for millions of single Americans earning less than $25,000 a year and married couples earning less than $50,000 a year. Individuals would receive a new one-page form to send the IRS saying, "I win." Now, don't go away. When we come back, it's going to be the IRS loses. I'll tell you all about it right after these brief messages. Do not go away.
Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful and visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make The Interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, Gentle Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39, a complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay. A great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show.
The story you are about to see is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent.
Oh yeah, here we are, my favorite part of the show, the IRS loses. And you know what? This just sends chills up and down my spine every time I think about it. It pleases me. I don't know what it does for you. I don't think anybody ever really wants to hear that the IRS won something. I certainly don't. And I'm pretty sure you don't either. You know what? Let's get right to it. Here's the first case for you. The IRS loses. A payment to departing business owner is tax-free damages. Wait till you hear this one. Charles Wright, a minority owner in a company that he helped found, had a dispute with his fellow owners and left the firm, taking a large negotiated settlement. More than $1.2 million of it was for personal injury that Wright treated as tax-free. But the IRS said that this description was a tax ploy that never would have been sustained in a trial and taxed the funds. So he went to court to get some satisfaction, and this is what the judge actually said. Wright had suffered real emotional injury caused by his partners. His settlement was negotiated at arm's length, and it included large taxable payments for other items. All this indicates that the allocation to the personal injury was made in good faith, and so is upheld. So just in case you missed that number, $1.2 million tax-free. Wow. That's a biggie, guys. That's a biggie. If you think about it, that's right at about $460,000 in tax just on the federal side. Another, I'd say $120,000 on the state side. So give that some thought. Here's another case for you. The IRS loses. Playing slots qualifies as a business. This is what you always wanted to hear, right? Well, get this. Linda Myers had a full-time job, but also spent 40 hours a week playing casino slot machines. She lost money and deducted her losses as a business expense, but the IRS, of course, denied her deduction, saying playing slots is not a business. So she went to tax court, and this is what the judge told Ms. Myers. They said, Myers spent full-time hours gambling, and a record of her activity through her casino card had a system of watching machines to determine which ones were most likely to pay off, modified the system in light of results, and had hit enough jackpots to show that it was possible for her to actually make a profit. All this indicated that she had a profit motive, so her gambling was a business and her losses deductible. You gotta love this stuff. I mean, you just gotta love this stuff. You know what? Anytime that, here's the thing. It's not that I don't want the IRS to win when they have it coming to them, when it's legitimate, when it's fair, when it's honest. The problem is that they've lost that ability, just sort of like our legislators have lost the ability to represent the people that have elected them. The truth is, the IRS doesn't always do what's fair and equitable. They forget who they work for. Yeah. Well, let's talk about inside the IRS. Oh, yeah. Do you ever want to be a fly on the wall when the IRS is making decisions? Well, that's kind of where we're at right here, in this segment that we call Inside the IRS. And it's sort of, this is not actually tax law, but it's precedent that was actually set out, and you can use it in your own defense because it has been published. So, it kind of ties the IRS's hands. They can't have it their way one way and then sometime later change it. So that's where we're at here. So here's the thing, though. If it sounds too good to be true, yeah, you heard me right. Now, promoters of tax schemes continue to make compelling arguments to gullible individuals that income that they earn is not subject to U.S. income tax based on Internal Revenue Code Section 861. Now, under the promoter's theory of this section of the code, U.S. citizens are subject to income tax only from foreign-based activities. Now, this position has been shown to be without merit, false, and a misapplication of the law and the regulations. We all remember fallen star actor Wesley Snipes. He's been indicted and put in jail or prison for tax evasion because he submitted amended returns claiming refunds of millions of dollars based on that Section 861 argument. The indictment also alleged that Snipes did not listen to his tax advisor who advised him against participating in the schemes. Snipes, who was arrested on December 11th, 2006, pleaded not guilty, was released on $1 million bond, and then returned to Namibia, where he was actually filming a movie. When he came back, the court found against him, and what wound up happening is the news conference said, one of his lawyers said, Mr. Snipes was a victim of his tax advisors. It's his tax season. Don't be duped. Well, the truth is that Mr. Snipes spent over 3 years away from home in one of those federal resorts. So don't get fooled with this kind of stuff. If it sounds too good to be true, it's because it is too good to be true. That's where we're really at with this stuff, right? Yeah, absolutely. You got it right. Now, How about when the IRS asks you to extend the statute of limitations? Well, generally the IRS must make an assessment of additional tax within 3 years from the date a tax return is filed. If the tax return is being examined, the IRS may ask you to extend that statute of limitations for a period of 1 year or longer until it completes the examination. Now, if you refuse, the IRS is going to make an assessment based on what it thinks you owe, and you'll then have the right to file a petition to the U.S. Tax Court. Here's a strategy for you. If the IRS has failed to identify a significant tax issue, such as your failure to report a large chunk of income, it may be a good idea to refuse to extend that statute of limitations. Giving the IRS more time to pursue the tax audit could mean that it will use that extra time to develop additional tax issues that could cost you a lot of money, or even involve defending yourself against criminal charges. Consult your attorney, of course, before you do anything like that. But you want to be careful. You want to use your brain, and you want to use a professional to help you out there. Now, do not go away, because when we come back, I'm going to talk about politics for a while. We're going to get in depth, and we're going to do it in a way that makes it clear and understandable for you. So don't go away. We'll be right back after these brief messages.
If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. Nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Leinberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchased high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics, where it's 3:34 p.m. Pacific time. It is currently 93 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. Well, let's get to the next segment of our show. I want to talk a little bit more in depth about politics. We do talk about politics, money, and you here, and so I think it's appropriate that we do that. I want to talk about some things that we didn't really get a chance to talk about in the news section of the show, and so let's just get right to it. This actually came in about 20 minutes ago, and it's the latest. Zuma calls for UN reform. Developments as the United Nations General Assembly marks its 70th year and world leaders debate issues gripping the global community and governments. South Africa's President Jacob Zuma is calling on the international community to transform the United Nations Security Council into a more representative and inclusive body. In his speech to the General Assembly, he says almost no progress has been achieved in the commitment undertaken by world leaders in 2005 to reform the United Nations Security Council. Describing it as unacceptable and unjustifiable, the president added that a continent with a smaller population than Africa is represented by 3 countries on the UN Security Council. Zuma said the United Nations cannot pretend that the world has not changed since 1945. We are no longer colonies. We are free, independent, sovereign states. Egypt's President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi says terrorist organizations are exploiting political crises in the Middle East to expand and achieve their objectives. Addressing the United Nations General Assembly, he warns that the dangers of this threat expanding to regions including the Palestinian territories. He says resolving the Palestinian conflict and allowing the Palestinian people to exercise their right to self-determination and to an independent state will effectively eliminate one of the most dangerous pretexts behind extremism and terrorism. El-Sisi says a UN-backed peace path for Libya is a milestone that should be built on and calls on Syrian parties to contribute with all vigor in efforts to negotiate political resolution to their country's civil war. There's a lot of people that have not been real happy when it comes to the UN. It's really not anything new, is it? No, it certainly is not. And so when we start thinking about all of that, you just don't want to go that route, right? No. Now, but you know what? I was going to talk about the scramble to fill the top job after Boehner left. It doesn't make much sense. I don't think that that's going to do us any good. You know what? But I would like to talk about Marco Rubio to Florida seniors. He says, I'll strengthen the military, is what Marco says. He says, Republican presidential candidate Marco Rubio is telling an influential community of seniors that he'll overhaul higher education and strengthen the nation's military muscle. The Florida senator spoke today at the Villages, a sprawling central Florida development of overwhelmingly conservative voters that no GOP candidate can ignore. The crowd spilled from the auditorium into 2 holding rooms. Rubio got a standing ovation for promising to build a strong military. The visit was Rubio's 3rd stop in Florida since launching his campaign earlier this year. Rubio is touting his foreign policy expertise in a Republican field of more than a dozen candidates with a wide array of backgrounds. Now, real estate mogul Donald Trump remains in the lead with retired neurosurgeon Ben Carson and former corporate executive Carly Fiorina among Rubio's other rivals. So, you know what? Time will tell. We'll see what happens with all of this. Talking about that front-runner rival, Republican front-runner Donald Trump proposes tax cuts for all. Well, we talked about that already with some great extent to that. And the truth is, there's not an awful lot more to be said about it. I think it has to be studied, his stuff. On the surface, it looks like it would be really great for middle-class and low-income earners. But you know what? I worry about the things he wants to spend money on and where he's going to get it back. I don't see how that could possibly be revenue neutral. It just doesn't make sense, I don't think, and I don't think that's possible for that to actually take place. Well, let's talk about House Speaker Hastert, lawyers are talking possible plea deal. Yeah, you heard that one, right? You know what? It seems like these things go on forever, and then you forget about them. They don't say anything, and then they come back again. That's what's happening here. A possible plea agreement is being negotiated in the hush money case of former U.S. House Speaker Dennis Hastert. Attorneys told a judge just today, meaning potentially embarrassing details about the underlying actions in the case may never be released in court. Hastert, who led the U.S. House for 9 years, has pleaded not guilty to charges that the Republicans skirted federal banking laws in an attempt to pay someone $3.5 million to hide claims of past misconduct. An indictment handed down in May alleges that Hastert agreed to pay the money to a person identified only as Individual A and offers no details about the alleged misconduct. The Associated Press and other media, citing anonymous sources, have reported the payments were intended to conceal claims of sexual misconduct decades ago. The disclosure about talks on a plea agreement came during a trial hearing in Chicago after U.S. District Court Thomas M. Durkin asked both sides to explain why they have repeatedly asked for more time to file pretrial motions. Prosecutors and defense attorneys both have taken steps to keep information not in the indictment secret, confirmed they were in talks on a plea deal, but offered no details. Legal experts said Hastert, who did not attend the hearing, has a strong incentive to reach a plea agreement and avoid trial. They said prosecutors would likely want to provide jurors with at least some information about the underlying allegations that aren't detailed in the indictment, such as the identity of Individual A. That's the sword that they have been hanging over his head, said Andrew Herman, a prominent Washington-based attorney who has represented clients targeted by ethics investigations in Congress. Jeff Kramer, a former U.S. attorney in Chicago, added, "If you spent millions to keep a secret, then the last thing you want is for that secret to come out in open court." Herman also said prosecutors have an incentive to reach agreement because their case is not a slam dunk. This case is a classic case where it is in everybody's interest to reach a plea, he said. Well, you know what? Authorities allege that Hastert structured cash withdrawals in increments of just under $10,000 in an attempt to avoid financial reporting rules, and when questioned by the FBI, said he was taking the money out because he didn't trust banks. Investigators have said Hastert withdrew about $1.7 million of the amount he allegedly agreed to pay. Well, you know what? We'll see what happens. I'm not sure how I feel about it. Did he break the law, or did he just have sexual indiscretions? You know what? If he broke the law, then he deserves to be found out. If what he had was sexual indiscretions and they're trying to just ruin and tarnish this man's reputation many years, a decade later, I'm not so sure that I think that that's fair, equitable, or the right thing to do, to be honest with you. Now, how about this? The FBI to collect better data on police shootings and the use of force. The FBI will begin collecting and providing to public more information about police shootings of civilians, FBI Director James Comey said today, as the agency released annual data on crime nationwide. Federal law enforcement officials have acknowledged in the last year a lack of reliable data about how often police officers use force in the line of duty. Former Attorney General Eric Holder urged better record keeping in a speech this year, calling it a matter of common sense, and Comey has expressed frustrations publicly with the absence of nationwide data following the Ferguson, Missouri shooting in August of 2014. As part of its uniform crime reporting program, the FBI tracks the number of police officers who are slain, as well as the number of justifiable homicides by police that are reported by law enforcement agencies. But those records are known to be incomplete since it's voluntary for police departments to feed data into the FBI system, and little more than a third of local agencies actually do it, Comey said. Comey on today encouraged every agency to submit the data to give the public a more complete picture. The FBI intends to collect more information about non-fatal shootings by police of civilians, including the facts and circumstances of each incident and who was involved. Comey said, well, you know what? Doesn't that just make sense? I don't understand why that's a debate in the first place, for Pete's sake. That just doesn't make any sense at all. Don't we have a right to know? Shouldn't we know? Isn't the fact that they don't have a transparency and that we don't know, doesn't that kind of indicate that maybe something's being covered up? Maybe something is being hidden? There's a problem with that. You know there's a problem with it. I know there's a problem with it. And you know what? We can't allow it. So let's take a good, strong look at it. Don't you think? Yeah, that's what I think. Let's take a good, strong look at it. We can't have that kind of stuff going on. Well, ethics panel continues to review the review of a Texas lawmaker. You know, the House Ethics Committee said today it is continuing an investigation of Republican Congressman Blake Farenthold of Texas, despite a recommendation by an investigative panel that the complaint be dismissed. The Independent Office of Congressional Ethics said it did not find substantial reason to believe that Farenthold sexually harassed a former staff member who was later fired. Former Communications Director Lauren Green alleged in a lawsuit last year that Farenthold made sexually suggestive comments to her and fired her soon after she complained about being bullied by the congressman's chief of staff. The Ethics Committee said today that Green's allegations are the subject of a pending lawsuit that prevents the panel from completing its review or dismissing the matter at the same time. The continuation of the review does not indicate that any violation has occurred, and it doesn't reflect any judgment by the committee. Ethics Chairman Charles Dent, a Republican from Pennsylvania, and Representative Linda Sanchez of California, the panel's senior Democrat, said in a joint statement. A spokesman for Farenthold said today that the congressman understands the position that House Ethics is in, adding that Farenthold is certain that once the legal nature of this situation is resolved, the ethics panel members will reach the same findings and conclusions that the Office of Congressional Ethics has already unanimously reached. Well, makes sense to me. Doesn't it to you? Well, finally, let's deal with this. The United States Clinton email storage safe, not secure, for some messages. The State Department has told Senate investigators that it didn't provide Hillary Rodham Clinton's lawyer with a secure enough method to read now highly classified material from her homebrew email server because it didn't anticipate that the messages would be deemed so secret. In July, State Department officials installed a safe at the office of Attorney David Kendall after the government determined some of Clinton's emails may have contained classified information. But it said last week the safe wasn't suitable for so-called top secret, sensitive, compartmented information known as TVSCI, which the government has said was found in some messages. Assistant Secretary of State Julia Freefeld wrote to Senate Judiciary Committee Chairman Charles Grassley on September the 22nd that while the safe was suitable for up to top secret information, it was not approved for TSSCI material because the material wasn't held in a facility set up for discussing highly secret information known as the SCIF, or Sensitive Compartmentalized Information Facility. Those questions were not an issue at the time of the safe was installed because there was no indication that the emails might contain TS or TSSCI material. Freefeld wrote in a letter obtained by the Associated Press, Kendall has a top secret security clearance. Now, don't go away because when we come back, I'm going to talk to you about, what do you think? Well, I'm going to talk to you about entertainment. That's where we're going to be. That's where we're going to go. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful in visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make the interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios, Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, Gentle Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39, a complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay. A great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza Live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. And you know what? I don't usually do this, but I was kind of interested in maybe talking a little bit about the entertainment industry and what's going on. And so, you know what? I talk a lot about the news. I talk a lot about politics. I talk a lot about the IRS and those kinds of things. A lot about business and things like that. And as a matter of fact, coming up next is going to be our own John Hanson, the little old wine drinker. He's going to be talking about food and wine and stuff like that. But I very seldom talk about entertainment. And I thought, well, you know what? Why don't I just give you some entertainment news? That might be some fun, right? So here's the big one. And I was a little surprised by it. In the box office top 20, Hotel Transylvania 2 flies higher. Hotel Transylvania 2 set the bar even higher for the best September opening of all time. The animated sequel featuring the voices of Adam Sandler and Mel Brooks topped the box office with $48.5 million in its debut weekend, about $1 million more than the initial Sunday estimates. The previous record holder was Hotel Transylvania, which opened to $42.5 million in 2012. Warner Brothers' The Intern, starring Robert De Niro and Anne Hathaway, also scored a solid $17.7 million, opening to take the second place spot, thanks to the older female audience who turned out to see the Nancy Meyers written and directed film. And I got to tell you, I'm anxious. I was hoping to go see that this last weekend. I didn't get a chance to go see it. I am going to go see The Intern. I'm a De Niro fan, and I'm an Anne Hathaway fan, so I can't hardly wait for that. Now, also, the Everest was not so lucky. The fact-based adventure film about disastrous 1996 expedition took fourth place in its nationwide expansion with only $13.2 million after playing exclusively on IMAX and premium large format screens last weekend. Now, I got to tell you, I did go see Everest in I guess it's what you would expect. I mean, graphically, the scenes were magnificent. The views were magnificent. To see what these climbers go through was tremendously interesting, and it made you wonder why they'd want to do it. But it was a long movie, and be very honest with you, it left me just a little flat. Instead of ascending the charts by playing on over 3,000 screens, Everest found itself sandwiched between Maze Runner, the Scorched Trails, which is $14.3 million, and Black Mass, $11 million, which are both in their second weekend in wide release. Now, Black Mass is one I also want to go see. I'm going to see that with my grandson and my son-in-law. We both want to see that, and it's about. I want to say Whitey Ford, but it's not Whitey Ford. I got myself messed up with who it is. But the mafia guy that just got caught in the Los Angeles area not too long ago. So anyway, the top 20 movies at U.S. and Canadian theaters Friday through Sunday, followed by distribution studio, gross number of theater locations, average receipts per location, total gross and number of weeks in release, as compiled Monday by Rent Track. Now, number one, Hotel Transylvania, and it brought in an average of $48,464,000 in 1 week. The Intern, $17,700,000. Maze Runner brought in $51,957,000 in a 2-week period. Everest brought in $23 million in a 2-week period. Black Mass brought in $42 million in a 2-week period. The Visit brought $52 million in 3 weeks. The Perfect Guy, $49 million in 3 weeks. War Room brought $56 million in 5 weeks. The Green Inferno brought $3.5 million in 1 week. In the 10th spot, Sicario brought in $2.3 million in 2 weeks. So you know what? Don't ever let them tell you that the movie business isn't a profitable business. But I suppose it depends on how much it costs you to make it, right? Yeah, I would say that's probably where it's going. Well, how about this? A prenuptial agreement cited in the Kaylee Coco divorce filing. Here's the deal. A prenuptial agreement will define how Kaylee Coco and her husband end their marriage of 20 months. That's less than 2 years, a court filing released Monday shows. The Big Bang Theory actress filed for divorce late Friday in Los Angeles Superior Court, citing irreconcilable differences, and her petition was released Monday afternoon, or this afternoon, I should say. Coco, the tennis pro Ryan Sweeting, married in a New Year's Eve ceremony in 2013. They have no children together. The divorce petition states the pair signed a prenuptial agreement in November of 2013 that will dictate Coco's spousal support payments to Sweeting in how they will divide their assets. Now you know who's making the money, right? Yeah. The filing states Coco and Sweeting separated earlier this month, but it provides no further details about the breakup. Coco's publicist said Friday that the couple had mutually agreed to end their marriage. More than 18 million people tuned in to September 21st when Big Bang Theory returned to its 9th season. Can you believe that? Did she hit a hit? What did she do before this? Who knows? Who cares? Well, Kenny Rogers announces retirement from touring. The gambler Kenny Rogers says he's retiring from touring and will do one last worldwide farewell tour after 5 decades on the road. Rogers, who's 77 years old, says in a video message on his website that he wants to spend more time with his 2 young sons and his wife Wanda. In my book, I wrote, there's a fine line between being selfish and being driven, and I think I crossed that line a lot when I was younger, Rogers said, and I didn't get a chance chance to spend a lot of time with my older boys, and I regret that now. The Grammy-winning singer will be on the road through the end of the year promoting his latest Christmas album, Once Again, It's Christmas. And we'll do a final world tour in 2016 with cities and dates to be announced later. Rogers, whose career has spanned country, pop, Christian, and folk genres, and over 65 albums, said he's still thinking about making new music, maybe in duet albums. I found that everybody sings better in a duet, said Rogers, who famously made Islands in the Stream with Dolly Parton a huge pop song. Rogers will start his Christmas tour in November in Canada. His album is a mix of classic holiday tunes like Little Drummer Boy and Baby It's Cold Outside, a few new songs and plenty of great duets with singers like Alison Krauss, Jennifer Nettles, and the Capella group Home Free. There's a faction of people that always love Christmas music, Rogers said. Music has always been great memory makers of all times. Yeah, sure has. Absolutely. Well, you know what? And if you never saw Kenny Rogers in concert, it's too bad. He was really good. I actually had the privilege of watching him, and he's a good entertainer. He's a solid guy. And at 77 years old, I understand why he doesn't want to travel anymore. I can give you that. Well, 3,000-page Primo Levi anthology includes Toni Morrison intro. Yeah. Well, the fall's most ambitious literary release took 17 years to complete, runs more than 3,000 pages, draws upon the talents of more than a dozen translators, and has a list price of $100. It also features an introduction from Nobel laureate Toni Morrison. The complete works of Primo Levi is a 3-volume set of writings by the late Italian author and Auschwitz survivor, whose memoir, If This Is a Man, remains a standard work of Holocaust literature. The anthology was conceived in 1998 by W.W. Norton and Company, executive editor Robert Wheel, who had had surprising success with a 2-volume compilation of Russian author Isaac Bohl, and thought Levi a worthy follow-up. But if the publisher had known back in 1998 how long this would take, he would never have gotten it approved, Wheel said during a recent interview. Well, Levi was world famous at the time of his death, widely believed a suicide in 1987, but his work in the United States suffered from the random treatment given to so many foreign language authors. At least 7 publishers had rights to various editions, and the quality of translations was erratic, enough that new translations were commissioned for virtually all of the books. Many stories and poems have never been collected in English before. So, you know what? Let's see what happens. I don't know that I'll have to think about it. My grandson, who is a real history nut, will probably get me to read this. He gets me to read a lot of these things. The last book he got me to read was a long book, and I had a tough time getting through it because literally it bored me. It was very redundant. He'll probably get this book, and he's probably going to want me to read this one too. And if he does, I will, because it'll give us something to talk about. Well, tonight's the night. Trevor Noah begins as the Daily Show host, and he's going to do it tonight. No pressure, little-known South African comic Trevor Noah takes over for Jon Stewart as host of the Comedy Central's The Daily Show. Stewart turned the show into television's first... good. I see that our next segment's going to be here. Anyways, I was saying, Stewart turned the show into television's first stop for a lampoon of politics and the media during his 16 years as host. Tiring of the Daily Show grind, he decided earlier this year to move on and did his final show in August. Noah, 31 years old, earned Stewart's blessing as a successor. He inherited much of his predecessor's backstage team and some of the show's correspondents. A signed Comedy Central wants to keep the bones of the Daily Show intact as regular viewers get to know a new voice. Now, with this, I'm going to go on a commercial break just a little bit early because I know that our own John Hansen's waiting in the wings. I want to talk to him about food and wine, or maybe not in that order. Maybe wine and food, or maybe food, wine, and entertainment. You know what? Who knows what we're going to talk about? We'll be with that little old wine drinker, John Hansen, right after these brief messages. Do not go away. We'll be right back.
If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. You know, nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, you know Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Lineberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchased high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 4:06 p.m. Pacific time. It is currently 92 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. That's down from 97 degrees. We want to say goodbye to our friends over at 405 Media Radio. They only get us for an hour. And for those of you guys that want to hear that the next hour and don't want to miss our own John Hanson, you know what? Just go to Spreaker.com and do a search for Robert Cardoza Live, or get my app. Just go to the Apple Store and search Robert Cardoza Live, or you can go to Google Play and do it that way too. You can either get the Apple or you can get the Android or the Windows. Now with that, you know what? I told you how hot it was. It isn't even beginning to heat up. Wait till you hear my next guest.
When they ask who's a fool in the corner crying, I say, a little old wine drink of me.
And now, from the middle of a vineyard somewhere, a man who's never met a grape he couldn't cuddle up to, our resident advanced sommelier, John Hanson.
Hey, John, welcome aboard. Good to have you here. Well, you know what? You actually clocked in a little early. I saw that as a relief. It surprised me, and I went to a commercial break a little early because I never get enough of you. Oh, you know what? Well, you're going to miss me. Yes, and I'm going to miss you too, John. Hey, John, let me stop you for a second because I got it back. I'm not getting you the way I should. Do me a favor, hang up and call me right back on my cell phone, would you? Yeah, call me on my cell phone. Okay, so we're talking to our own John Hanson. You know what? I knew that we were from time to time having some issues when it came to the system that we were using to get people to call into us, and it got to be kind of an issue with us. So now we're going to get John back in here. He's going to call me on my cell phone. I'm going to plug him right back in through here, and we'll get this thing handled right away, or at least we will if he calls in. And you know what? I can guarantee you, I know what he's doing. He's looking up the number. John doesn't remember the number, and there he is. There we go. Okay, now we got him. Hey, John, you there, buddy?
Yeah, can you hear me better?
Oh, much better. You know, for some reason, the system that we were using, and I was trying to get away from it, and so that you could coordinate better, but it just wasn't working because the one I have to use, unfortunately, you don't hear a lot of the stuff going on in the background or commercials and that kind of stuff. And I was trying to bypass it, but I could see that that's not going to work. And so what we're simply going to do is go back to the way we were doing it before. So now go back and talk about your guest that may be calling in.
Yes, hopefully they will. We used to be at 5 o'clock hour, now we're at the 4, so it's just a little hard for them to get there at 4, but they're going to try to make it. They did this great little charitable event on Thursday. They do about 4 to 5 times a year. And of course they have, winemakers and brewers, people with small microbreweries are at this event. There's food, and it's a lot of fun, and the proceeds, of course, go to charity. Hopefully one of them can make it there. They said they're going to try to get on a little after 4 and talk about it, because they do have another event coming up probably around the middle of January. The last Thursday they did one. It was great, and I love to promote them on the air. So if they do make it, we'll take time out and talk to them about it. But if not, well, we got a great show ahead of us. And of course, what I did mention earlier, that this weekend coming up, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, I'm going to be up in Napa Valley. There's a lot of big release parties going up there, and unfortunately, I would have loved to have you join me, but unfortunately, you couldn't make it. I'm sad that I couldn't make it. The timing didn't work out for me, and but you know what? What I do need to do. When are you leaving? You're leaving next Saturday, right, or Friday? No, we're leaving Saturday morning. We do have there's the Height of the Lane. Now it's called HDV, Height of the Lane, and of course Alberto Villain, who is the winemaker for Domaine Romane Conte, probably the winemaker in the world. His sister actually married Peter Hyde of Hyde Vineyards, and that's Hyde of the Lane. Peter Hyde is more of a farmer. He used to just, basically do the vintage management on grapes and sell the juice to high-end wineries. Well, of course, Aubert said, hey, let's make some wine. You have this incredible property. Let's make some wine. So they started making wine, and they're doing very well. And it's funny because they did a Chardonnay, of course from Burgundy, but they didn't do a Pinot Noir. And how can the best Pinot Noir winemaker in the world not do a Pinot Noir?
That makes no sense.
No, it doesn't. But they do have one now, and that's why I can't wait to get up there and taste it. And that's actually Saturday, 1 to 4. So we're going to get up there Saturday. I just have a little fun, and then 1 to 4 we're going to be at the Height of the Lane release party. Now, at 4 o'clock, Linda does hers from 5 to whenever, because she has the band, and it goes to well into the evening hours. But at 4 o'clock, she opens up for the people in the trade, like you and me. So we go there, and we get to taste her private stuff and have a little fun. Then at 5 o'clock, everybody else joins us. We have a great little dinner. There's a band. She has this caterer come over in this big truck and does these smoked pork. She has this incredible New York steak. There's salmon on the menu. Just this incredible layout for everybody. And then, of course, we taste the new 2012 Perro Roja. So that's going to be a lot of fun, of course. Now, Sunday, we're going to do my good friend that I actually took the advance with, Kenny Cota, who was formerly with Rudd. Now he has his own little thing, and I'm very excited about this, too. But Sunday, we'll probably get up to a little tasting, and then we have this incredible lunch at Whitehall Lane. Tom Leonardini. There's actually 3 Tom Leonardinis. Tom Sr., who started the winery. Tom Jr. is kind of running it right now, and then Tom III actually is at San Francisco University. He's one of the high prospect pitchers on the Dons team. Hopefully, at least Tom Jr. is hoping he does a major league contract sometime, maybe. But if not, I'm sure he'll get back into the family business. But great wines. As I said, the Whitehall Lane, probably the best value. The reserves going for under $100 a bottle. Gosh, I remember the 95 reserve I thought was the best wine out of 95, even better than the Bryants and the Colgans and everything for a fraction of the price. So those who want to get this incredible deal up there, stop in at Whitehall Lane. You get to taste all these incredible wines up there. And they do have an incredible library, so you can buy some nice vintage, like reserve cabs that are drinking exceptional right now. But one other wine that I really, really love up there is Roy. And I mentioned that it's another small little winery. Philippe Melka, of course, the winemaker. Philippe has, I want to say, 12 wineries under his belt now. And now the winery on Cortez, which Kenny's working for. Now, that is actually located right between Bryant and Colgan up on Pritchard Hill. And, of course, the winemaker for Bryant, Philippe Melka, is also the winemaker for on Cortez, which is Kenny's new wine. So little younger vines, just like Roy, about 7, 8-year-old vines. And what's producing off these young vines are just incredible. As I said, you have the winemaker right now. I mean, back in the day, it was like Helen Turley and who else was up there? Who am I thinking of? The old winemakers, Bob. Helen Turley, and she was a winemaker for Screaming Eagle and Heidi Barrett. Heidi Barrett.
Yeah.
So I mean, they were in the 80s, 90s. They were the winemakers up there, and now it's Philippe Malka and Thomas River Brown that are like the duo up there that is making this incredible stuff. So Kenny is actually selling that wine now, and I can't wait to get up there and taste that. And for dinner, we have gone to Red's, or Kenny's wife is an incredible chef. Kenny's only been married for a few years, and his wife is an incredible chef. So we may actually go back to his house and just do an incredible dinner at his house. That's still up in the air, depending on how she feels, because we're going to do a day of tasting. I don't know if she wants to go back to the house and start cooking. So we may just go out and have an incredible dinner at Red's. So we're going to make our reservations there, too. But Monday is going to be kind of a free day. We're just going to do a lot of tasting. You know, we have Derouche lined up. Of course, BV, Bob. We got to go to BV. We got to try the Georgia Latour, the Cologne 4 and Cologne 5, of course. So if I head over to Rudd, because, you know, Kenny's old stomping grounds, and right next to Rudd is Bond. Some incredible stuff there as well. So we'll be kind of just kicking back there in the heart of Napa Valley Monday, and then drive up to Sacramento Monday evening and come home that night. But looking forward to it.
So I'm guessing Monday you're going to be tied up, and we're going to need to fill in for you, huh?
Yeah, I won't be back till later on Monday, so I won't be able to do the actual show. But the following Monday, I can't wait to get on the show and tell you this weekend, because it's going to be a lot of fun. Maybe we'll get Linda Neal or somebody or a couple people on that show and talk about that weekend, because there's a lot of release parties going on. There's a lot of functions going on up there. There's so much to do up there. The only problem, it's going to be so crowded.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to find a room right now is going to be crazy, of course, and it's going to be very expensive. But we usually stay at, like, the wineries or at one of the major hotels. But this time, Bob, we're really looking forward to it, because we're going to stay at one of the classic B&Bs up there.
Oh, how nice.
And we're really looking forward to it, because it's very quaint. You know, a lot of B&Bs are like Victorian houses, what do they call them in San Francisco? The painted ladies, where they fix them all up, and it just looks beautiful. Very quaint, Victorian-style properties. So we can't wait to go up there and check one out.
You know what? And that sounds fantastic. John, we got to go on a small break. We're going to be right back with our own John Hanson, that little old wine drinker, after these brief messages. Don't go away. We're hearing all about his next excursion going up to Napa Valley for the breakout of Terra Roja wineries with Linda Neal. We'll be right back. Don't go away.
Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful and visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make The Interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios, Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, Gentle Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39, a complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay. A great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza Live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're talking to my good buddy John Hanson, that little old wine drinker. Hey, and John, before I forget, there was something I was thinking about, and if you could give me a call after the show, say around 5 minutes after 5 or so, I only need about 2 minutes with you. I want to suggest something to you for when you're up in Napa.
Oh, absolutely. As I said, I can't wait, and hopefully, I know it's going to be really busy probably the next month up there. Of course, But hopefully we can, Linda, she's always so gracious. I'm sure she'll take an hour out of her busy day. I call her the Energized Bunny because she gets up like at 4:30 in the morning and she's nonstop to the sun goes down. So I'm sure she'll take an hour of her day. She's probably going to scold you for not going, Bob, of course.
Oh, you know what? She and I we've already been in communication. I feel really, really bad, and please make sure. I had such a great time at the last presentation, and I felt really, really bad. So you know what happened? I actually took another event that I have to go to, and in her event got by me before I had any thought about it. And when I finally found out about it, it was way beyond the hotels and all the stuff were just way beyond it, and I would have had to cancel something I already committed to. So that's what happened.
Well, it's strange. I say Linda doesn't hold a grudge. She's the nicest lady I ever met, and half our group, we've actually in the last 3 years or so have had quite a nice little gathering up there. It's been the same people, so it's been a lot of fun. And she alternates from Vegas to Napa to Vegas. So next year we'll probably be in Vegas again. But unfortunately, two of our good close friends are big hunters, and the hunting season opens up that weekend too. So they're up in Utah hunting. So 8 people of our party is not going to be going. So it's just a party of 4 of our original 12 or so people are going. So it's going to be a year of meeting new people, I guess. But it's always fun meeting new people. And as I said, Linda's always the incredible host. So
she is.
I can't wait.
Yeah, she. Not only is she an incredible host, she is just an incredible young lady. She's just really, really a nice young lady.
And I don't know how she does it. As I said, she's up every day at 4:30, and she just goes, and it's just amazing. She'll be doing a wine dinner to midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning. She gets back up at 4:30 and just takes off and goes. So God bless her. I don't know how she does it. Every year I get her a Starbucks gift card because I know she lives there.
Yeah, I heard that.
But buddy, I don't want to talk too much about it because I'm so excited. I'm going to have a lot of info in a couple of weeks. And as I said, hopefully we'll have Linda on. But I wanted to keep this. I mean, what's getting a lot of craze was, we kind of opened Pandora's box there when we started talking about spirits and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
The first show we talked about Scotch, my favorite spirit, and yours, gin. And we talked about vodkas and rums last week. So this week I want to squeeze in fruit spirits, which are becoming very popular.
Well, you know what? Let me start you off. When and I think you're going to talk about probably fruit flavored vodkas and things, but I was thinking in terms of schnapps and liqueurs. I love some of those things. And you're already aware of it. When I have guests come over, I'll make what I call I call it a Bellini, but it's not a Bellini like you'd get in Venice. But it's I'll take some peach schnapps or peach liqueur, and I'll put a little bit of that in the bottom of a champagne flute, and then I'll put some champagne in there, and maybe put a little piece of a peach or a strawberry or something in there, and women just love it, and it's kind of neat for the guys too, but they immediately want to move to something a little more substantial.
And I've had that several times at the Casa Cardoza. Yeah, it's very nice, actually. And Raina's addicted to it, unfortunately. So, and by the way, she mentioned the next time we're going to Bob and Marlene. So, we're going to have to schedule something too. Well, you know what?
How about the week after? We'll see what goes on, but let's tentatively set it up for the week after you come back.
Good, because I have a lot of stuff. I'm sure I'll be up there buying a lot of wines, and if I find something, I'll bring over a bottle. We can have fun with it and taste it.
Well, if I know what you're bringing, I'll prepare something special just to go with it.
We'll definitely do that then.
Okay.
Definitely do it. Make it a date.
Okay.
But Bob, on the fruit spirits, of course, probably the one that has probably the most governing laws to it and so forth is Calvados. And Calvados is like cognac, if you will. But instead of grapes, it's distilled from apples. And it's from northern France, actually the Normandy area. And there's some guidelines with Calvados. It has to be double pot stilled. Pot stilled, of course, the pot still is what cognacs do. It's not like a tinder still, it's a pot still. It's double pot stilled. It has to have a minimum of 2 years in oak, and it has to be 40 to 45 on the percentage of the alcohol. But Frambois is also a really big thing. Duck Frambois, I love to make too. That is distilled from raspberry. Fernbach, of course, is raspberry in French. There's really no guidelines, but it's a clear liqueur. And basically all the fruit spirits are aged in glass, except for Cardoza, of course, which has a minimum of 2 years in oak. But Chambord, which is always popular as well, people think it's a raspberry liqueur. It's actually a black raspberry liqueur from France. Most high-end restaurants use that, like in a Kir Royale or so.
Oh yeah, but it's wonderful. You know what? If you took a little bit of Chambord and you put it over the top of some vanilla bean ice cream, I want to tell you, it's to die for.
Oh yes, put some black raspberries in there too.
Yeah.
Kirsch, of course, is a cherry spirit distilled from cherries. You see a lot of that in desserts. Cherry Jubilee, they put Kirsch in there as well. Maribel. Now, Maribel is distilled from yellow plums, which is very popular. Also popular in desserts and so forth. You have Pois William, which is pear. That's also the main thing in pear tarts. You have Calvados in Tartatin, which is an apple tart on the dessert side. You also have Ciboulette. Now, Ciboulette is a distillation of red plums. That's usually from Alsatian area, Hungary, Germany area as well. They're more of the clear spirits. You also have more of anise. The aniseed Pinon is probably the biggest one of the anise spirits, of course, from France. In a lot of cocktails, a lot of people put Pinon in a bouillabaisse. You get that little licorice, that little anise scent in the thing. That's what the French love to put a little Pinon in like a bouillabaisse or a fish stew or so. Ricard is like a higher-end Pinon, also from the French area. That you see a lot of. And, of course, Ouzo. Ouzo is from Greece. A lot of celebrations. Greek wedding. You got to have Ouzo. Anisette on the Italian side, it's a tradition in an Italian wedding. You have anisette or probably a citrus liqueur or so as an alternative at the end of an Italian wedding. So they're more of the spirits on the fruit side and kind of on the herbal side. Of course, you have like herbal liqueurs like Jägermeister. And Jägermeister was a big craze back in the 90s. Everybody used to do these Jägermeister parties. One of the most popular digestifs, also herbal, Fernet Blanca, is on the herbal scent of spirits and so forth. So a lot of herbs, a lot of fruits, also involved in spirits, a lot of fun stuff that you don't normally see out there. I just wanted to basically touch on get that craze of the spirits going. As I said, we opened Pandora's box, but when we start talking about spirits, everybody said, "Oh, talk more." So a lot of fun stuff out there. But I don't know how much time we have, Bob, but I do want to squeeze in a wine pick of the week.
Well, you've got another, let's call it 6 minutes.
Oh, wow, that's great. That's great. Because I'm gonna kind of go on the off the cuff here, because I'm going to pick a wine pick of the week that I actually didn't try, and I'm basing it on.
Wait a minute! You're actually gonna? I don't believe this. First of all, I don't believe there's a wine you haven't tried. Second of all, I can't believe you're going to make it the pick of the week having not tried it.
Well, this is my basis, Bob. Okay, the 2010. As I said, I'm going to have lunch up Saturday afternoon at Whitehall Lane, and Tom promised me a nice little care package, and he was telling me what he's going to lay out for me to taste. And the 2010 Whitehall Lane Cabernet was phenomenal. And 2010, I said, was kind of a strange year. When we had Linda Neal on the radio, she mentioned that she only made 50 cases, where she usually makes a little over 200 cases. So for those who actually produce some wine, some wineries didn't produce anything. They just wrote off the whole vintage because of the weather and so forth. But those who actually made wine, very, very, very low yield, but the wine they did produce was amazing. So I'm going to go up and try the 2010 Whitehall Lane Reserve and just, as I said, this is a blind pick of the week. I'm just basing it on the regular cab, and it's always better than a regular cab.
John, tell the truth. You're basing it on their history. You know what you're going to get.
I do. I know, and I'm excited. I'm so excited that I want to pick it as the wine pick of the week before I go up and try it, because I know it's going to be amazing. But as I said, the Whitehall Lane Reserves, best buy up there. Drink as good as $150, $250, $300 bottles of wine for under $100 a bottle.
Wow.
And as I said, they have an incredible library up there. We can go back in the 90s and have like 95, 96. They do a nice little vertical package up there. The last vertical, I think, was 06, 7, and 8. So it might have changed since, they keep a few bottles of the real old stuff, but once it starts getting low, they take it off their sales list. But bang for the buck, probably one of the best wineries up there. Tom Lardine Sr., his plight is to not rape the public. He gets these incredible scores, and he doesn't, raise the price. We talked about Chateau St. Jean, the St. Cepage, where it was like $30 a bottle, and once they got the number one wine, it went up to $100 and some a bottle on a wine list. So, I mean, if Whitehall Lane got 100-point wine, Tom swears he's not going to raise the price on it. So, loyal family, great family, been in the business for years. They make a quality product, and I said, bang for the buck. One of the best wines up there. Try the whole line. The Sauvignon Blanc's amazing. They do a lot of kind of eclectic wines up there too. That are a lot of fun that you would like. Get up there, taste in the tasting room, and enjoy it, because it's an incredible winery, and they make some incredible products at a decent price.
Let me ask you a question. As long as we're talking about the wine country, and it could be any wine country for that matter, with the different tasting rooms and things that they have, John. I used to find myself steering away from the regular wines and always want to do the reserve tastings. But you know what? I think that I was doing myself a disservice when I was doing that, because a lot of times I'd run into their regular wines that were not their reserves or library selects, and getting some really nice wines. And do you agree that maybe you do yourself a disservice by not tasting both?
Well, it's funny because take Schaefer. Mm-hmm. Now, Schaefer used to wait to release their Hillside Select, which is their marquee wine. They wanted to see what the price of Cayman Special Select was, see what all these prices is, and then they marked their Hillside Select accordingly. What's funny, I mean, it's kind of like Le Mission Haut-Brion and Haut-Brion. Mm-hmm. Haut-Brion's the first growth, Le Mission isn't. And some years, Le Mission's better than Haut-Brion. And it's the same thing with Schaefer. Some years, the regular cab, the 1.5 cab or whatever, is better than a Hillside Select at half the price. So, yeah, I know going up there, you can't drink everything. It's impossible. You got to be very selective in tasting. And I understand why you're just going for the reserves, because, you can only have so much wine up there. Yeah. So try some of the regular cabs. And as I said, I'm basing my wine pick of the week just on their regular 2010. If their 2010 was incredible, I'm sure I can't wait to try their 2010 reserve.
Well, we got 15 seconds. Give it one more shot.
The 2010 Whitehall Lane Reserve. Go out and buy it as soon as it comes out, because it's coming out real soon. It's not that big of a production, but if you can find it in one of the high-end wine stores, it's a great price. Buy it.
Sounds good. Hey, John, fantastic show. Don't forget, give me a buzz about 5:05 or so this afternoon. I need to talk to you about something. I think it'll make your trip a little more fun for you.
Sounds great. Can't wait.
All right. Now, everybody, do not go away. When we come back, I'm going to do the birthdays for the day, the secret daily teachings for your life, the Harvard business tip of the day, and interesting but useless facts. We'll be right back after these brief messages. Do not go away.
If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. You know, nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, you know Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Lineberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchase high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 4:40 p.m. Pacific time. Currently 92 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. Well, you know what today is, right? Sure you do. It's Monday, September the 28th, and more important, it's somebody's birthday. And you know what? This person, you all know him. You've all heard his name. You all know of him at least. His birthday is some time ago. It was actually in the year 551 and died in 479. So give that a thought, right? It's got to be backwards, I'm thinking. But the truth is, he's the Chinese thinker and social philosopher whose teachings and philosophy have deeply influenced many throughout his life. Happy birthday, Confucius. Yeah, Confucius say, right? Well, here's a young lady, beautiful young lady, and she was born in 1967, received an Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress in Mighty Aphrodite, and she was born, and like I say, on September the 28th, 1967. Happy birthday, Mira Sorvino. And finally, a young lady that was born in 1987, an actress and singer-songwriter who gained fame for playing Lizzie McGuire. Happy birthday, Hilary Duff. Well, what happened today in history on September the 28th? I can tell you, in 1787, the newly completed United States Constitution is voted on by the United States Congress to be sent to the state legislatures for approval. 1987. And in 1941, Major League Baseball, Ted Williams of the Boston Red Sox finishes the season with a batting average of 406. He is the latest major league player to have a batting average of 400 or better. Yeah, can you imagine? Wow. 4 times out of 10 hits. Well, the quote for today is from an unknown author. He says, a kindergarten teacher is someone who loves children and hates zippers. I don't even know where that's coming from. Don't even know. Somebody will write me and tell me what that's supposed to mean, right? Well, let's talk about the secret daily teaching for your life. You know that I tell you all the time, it's all about a positive mental attitude. And the teaching today is treat yourself with love and respect, and you'll attract people who show you love and respect. It all starts with you, and it all starts with a positive mental attitude. Well, let's talk about that Harvard business tip of the day. And the management tip today is 2 ways to grow at work without a promotion. If you're feeling stalled in your career, but a promotion isn't on the table, you can find other ways to grow. Lateral moves within your organization, for example, can be a great way to build new skills and relationships and get exposure to different products or services. You can explore new internal opportunities by conducting internal informational interviews with leaders of other divisions, taking on assignments involving other business units, or volunteering to move to a staff function that transcends units, such as finance or HR or operations. You can also reshape your role as a way to grow without a formal promotion. Consider what's on your supervisor's plate. Does he or she have responsibilities that you're willing to take on? And what's been said in employee and customer surveys? Are there needs that the organization isn't meeting that you have the skills to respond to? To find opportunities. That is what you got to do, folks. That's exactly what you got to do. Well, it's time for our interesting but useless facts. And boy, we got some good ones. We've had some good ones. We continue to have good ones. Now, let's start off with this one. Did you know that house flies have a lifespan of 2 weeks? Which means that if you get one of those little buggers that are aggravating you in your house, if you can just hold out for 2 weeks, they're going to die. You'll find them laying someplace. So it's not ever ending. Let's just hope that they don't have lots of babies in the interim, right? Yeah. Well, here's one for you. Did you know that camel milk does not curdle? Now, I've never tasted camel milk, so I can't tell you what it tastes like, but it doesn't curdle, so it must be different in some way. Maybe with the fat that's in it than what the cow's milk has. And how about the name Wendy was made up for the book Peter Pan? There was never a recorded Wendy before that book was actually written. Isn't that interesting? That, I think, is interesting. Did you know that Mountain Dew is an old slang term for moonshine? So when you go out and you get a can of Mountain Dew, it's not the way it used to be. Moonshine is what it was. Hey, children born in the month of May are on the average 200 grams heavier at birth than children born in any other month. Now, I can't explain why, but I can tell you I was born on May the 25th, which means I must have been about 200 grams heavier than other babies born in other months, according to this anyway. Now, did you know the Hawaiian alphabet has only 12 letters in it? There's one for you. So, how about this one? The Chow Chow and the Chinese Shar-Pei are the only dogs that have a black tongue. The tongues of all other dogs are pink. Give that some thought next time you're in around. Or next time you get bit and they want you to give a description. Just pay attention to the tongue color. At least you can narrow things down a little bit. Try this on. Did you know that the Ouija board got its name from the combination of the French and German words for yes, oui, and ja? Ouija. Well, yes, I've always heard it pronounced Ouija, but it's Ouija. Huh, I guess. Did you know that Mohammed is the most common first name in the world? There's one for you. Yeah. Try this one on for size. Did you know that the average woman will consume over 6 pounds of lipstick in their lifetime? Now, there is one you want to send off, right? 6 pounds of lipstick in a lifetime consumed because you put it on your lips, you wind up eating it, licking it, doing all that kind of stuff. Well, let me leave you with this. Only female mosquitoes bite. Now there is a fact for you. Only female mosquitoes actually bite. Now, do not go away. When we come back, I'm going to be answering your emails for you. The first one comes from Royce Diaz from Parlier, California, asking about an audit redo he's going through. So I'll tell you all about that right after these brief messages. Do not go away.
Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful and visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make The Interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, Gentle Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39, a complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay. A great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza Live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 4:52 p.m. Pacific time. Currently 92 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. Well, I've got my good buddy waiting in the wings here, John Matthews. Hey, John, what's going to be on your show tonight?
Well, obviously, it's all things Boehner tonight.
You're not going to talk about Kevin McCarthy, huh?
Well, it's actually not. I just said that to be facetious. But we got a little bit of the creepy, we got a little bit of the realistic, and we got a little bit of everything else in between.
We're going to be talking about Bob Brady. If you don't know who he is, he's a congressman that actually stole the glass that the Pope drank water out of.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to talk about that.
Can you imagine, John? Not only the popes, but any notable person that has ever made a speech to the joint session of Congress, he steals the glass of water. In this particular case, he actually drank out of the glass the water that was already there, and he gave some to his kids and wife as well.
Yes, and he took the rest home to sprinkle on his children.
Yeah.
But it gets creepier. It gets creepier, so you'll have to tune in tonight to find out. Because,
Absolutely.
It's not the first time he's done this, so we're going to talk about that. Of course, everything about Boehner right now, we're going to talk about his tour on the talk show circuits over the weekend. He's a little looser now, kind of exposing who he really is. We're going to talk about his replacements, the people that are up on the short list. And then, of course, Hillary, the diabolical soap opera known as Hillary Clinton. We're going to talk about some of the stuff that's going on there. She's back to disclaiming that she knew anything about anything that was happening. So we're waiting now, since CNN has now allowed Joe Biden to actually enter the race on the very day of the debate if he wants to, and therefore come to the debate. It tells us a lot. So That's what we're doing tonight. They want to listen to us. They can just go to our website, theconservativesyndicate.net. And once we're live at 5 o'clock out here in the West Coast, 8 o'clock on the East Coast, the show will pop right up, and they'll be in tune with us.
It sounds good. And the one thing we want to let people know is that you're on every Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday from 5 to 7 o'clock Pacific time. And so, you know what? John has got a very objective show. Even though it's a conservative show, it's an objective show. You want to listen to it. He's always going to give you food for thought. Tonight's show sounds like it's going to be fantastic, John. So, look, I'll talk to you probably not later, but I'll be listening.
Okay. All right. Take care, my friend.
All right, buddy. You take care. Have a great show. Okay, so it is time for us to answer your emails. I want to get right to them. First one, like I said, is from Royce Diaz from Pollier, California, asking about an audit redo, and says, I just came through an IRS audit that resulted in a no change to my tax bill, and now I've already received another audit notice. This doesn't seem right. Is there any way to stop these repeat audits like this? Well, here's the deal, Royce. The tax code section 7605 says that the IRS cannot audit the same year twice unless it has a specific reason for doing so, such as new information indicating a possible tax liability that it lacked at the time of the first audit. Now, similarly, the IRS's own rules say it will not audit an item on a tax return if the same item was audited on a return filed for either of the 2 prior years with a no change result. Again, unless it has a specific reason for doing so, which is not often. Now, your letter doesn't say whether you fit either of these situations, but if you do, you can just call the IRS, ask it to discontinue the new audit, and they will. So there's the good news for you. Next email comes from Quincy Griffone from Belfast, Maine, asking about tax withholding. Says, I'm still working while my spouse is retiring and about to start receiving both a pension and Social Security benefits. It seems complicated to arrange separate tax withholding from both of them. So can I simply withhold the tax due on my spouse's retirement income from my own pay? Quincy, yeah, you can. If you file a joint tax return with your spouse, just file a new Form W-4 with your employer that elects to withhold sufficient tax from your pay to cover your joint tax liability. Now, wage withholding also can cover tax liabilities arising from other sources as well, such as investment income, if you wanted to do that. This can save you the need of having to file quarterly estimated taxes to cover that tax on this income as well. So you probably want to do that, and you'll see there's a real benefit to it. Now, I want to thank you for listening to Robert Cardoza Live at the intersection of business and politics. Robert Cardoza Live broadcasts on Spreaker Radio, Roar, 1776 Radio, MyCast Live Radio, and countless terrestrial stations worldwide every single Monday through Friday from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Pacific Time, and on 405 Media Radio every Monday through Friday from 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. Pacific Time. Please follow me on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Google+, and YouTube, where you can listen to all of my shows 24/7. Go to my website at www.robertcardozalive.com and email me at robertcardozalive@gmail.com. It's where I get all the emails I deal with here on the show. My next show, my expert contributor is going to be Suzette Mailer, our event journalist. My special guest, Sean Lefebvre, continues his series, Geared for Wellness. I encourage you to tell all of your friends about my show here on the RLC Broadcasting Network.
That's our show for today. Beginning today, treat everyone you meet as if they were going to be dead by midnight. Extend them all the care, kindness, and understanding that you can muster. Your life will never be the same again. So many of our dreams at first seem impossible, then they seem improbable, and then when we summon the will, they soon become inevitable. You know, the real secret of happiness is to make others believe that they're the cause of it. Robert Cardoza Live is brought to you by blogtalkradio.com every Monday through Friday from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Pacific Time. Now, go out and make it a great day. Your host has been Robert Cardoza, the technical advisor, Matchstick Digital, and your executive producer, also Robert Cardoza.
Okay, everybody, that's a wrap. I hope you enjoyed today's show as much as I enjoyed producing it for you. Don't forget to join me again tomorrow for another installment of Robert Cardoza Live on the street at the intersection of business and politics at 4 p.m. Pacific Time. In the meantime, I want you to stay safe. I want you to be good, and I want you to be happy, and I want you to make everybody's lives that you touch better for it. In the meantime, have a wonderful evening. Stay safe, and good night, everybody.